Hi and welcome to our new DVD. This time we're going to be talking about how you can improve your Wing Chun by using drills. Not just robotic repetitious drills, but drills which are used intelligently. Obviously Wing Chun is constructed mainly from the ideas of which are found in the forms and the Chi Sao and from fighting practice. We can use the drills. Chi Sao indeed is a drill, and single stick and hands and lap Sao are the mainly known ones, but we can also use Pak Sao drills and other types of drills we construct from taking elements of the forms or things we want to work on. We're going to take these drills and we're going to look progressively from simple drills up to more complex drills, ending up with Chi Sao, and then we'll do another film on Chi Sao specifically. The drills here in this film, you can see the way we do our Wing Chun might be different to the way you do your Wing Chun. That doesn't really matter. What you should be looking at is the ideas contained within the forms and how to use the drills, how to take elements from your Wing Chun, train it repetitiously so that you can then derive more skill or attributes, specific attributes from your Wing Chun. If you find there's a part of your Wing Chun which is maybe lacking, or maybe you're not so good at working on your left hand side, or maybe you want to work on moving in and entering or something like that, getting into Wing Chun range, you can use drills then to take that skill and develop it. Also with drills, then the actual drills themselves can develop as well. So you might start off with a simple drill where everything's constrained, all the movements are specific, the attack is specific, the defense is specific, and then you can let that drill develop and evolve. You can maybe vary the attack, maybe change hands from the attacks without knowing what's coming. You can maybe change the type of attack, maybe it'll be a straight punch or maybe it'll be a curved punch. Maybe you can do a kick instead of a punch. And you can generally let the drills just evolve by themselves organically, and then take that way your skill will also evolve and you'll gradually develop with your technique. The skills leading up to Chi Sao are, again, rather like when you learn the form. The first form is all stationary, so you take a simple element of Wing Chun, you maybe take the triangulation or the stance, and then when you learn the second form, Chum Kyu, maybe you learn to turn that, you learn to target and move around with a mobile target. Same thing with the drills, keep them really simple at first, then let them evolve. Also, the drills mustn't be practiced robotically, they're not just rote mechanic things. You've got to take the feeling and the sensitivity elements of Wing Chun and use that in the drills. So the person who's on the receiving end, as it were, has to feel what's happening. So you maybe want to change the tempo that you do it with, or the intent, and specifically changing people frequently is very important. The more people you train with, the more rounded your skill will be, because you'll learn to train with different sizes of people, different personalities, different levels of aggression, different strengths, and really different ways of using force. We're all very different people as individuals, and that comes out in Wing Chun. This is one of Wing Chun's very strong elements, that you can allow yourself to come out in that, your personality will come out in the way you train. All my students, for instance, I can probably tell who they are all with my eyes closed through training with them, just because they're all completely different. Their personalities and their body types will come out in the way they train. So, use the drills, use them intelligently, take them away, work at them, and develop your skill through the drills. Okay. Single stick and hands is one of the first drills that you train in Wing Chun, and it teaches you an incredible amount about the essence of what Wing Chun does, or the ideas behind Wing Chun. Most of the essential ideas are in some way contained in single stick and hands. You've got the stance, you've got the squareness, you've got Tan Sao, Bong Sao, Fook Sao, palm strike, punch, sensitivity, centre line, your fighting triangle. An incredible amount of information is encoded into it. It's done nice and relaxed. The shoulders should be nice and square, the stance should be strong, the shoulders should be relaxed, and we'll talk through more of that as we go along. Thank you. In single stick and hands, the two partners stand facing each other, they're square on, and they must maintain their squareness. Should be nicely in their stance, and the shoulders should be relaxed. In this position here, John is making a palm strike, Erica is using Jum Sao with her elbow to deflect it. John's arm is relaxed so that when he gets pushed off target, he's then able to make Bong Sao. After the palm strike has been pushed off, Erica's elbow is on line to strike. Then she can strike the punch forward, nice and relaxed again, just pushing the elbow in really, not overreaching with the shoulder, and the arm's relaxed. John then gets to perform a Bong Sao because of the pressure, and then they relax back down again. When the punch is deflected, the arm must be completely relaxed, because in reality you'll have your rear hand ready. Here we can see the same drill, single sticking hands. palm strike comes out, jump sao blocks it, then the punch comes forward and the bong sao deflects it. Shoulders should be nice and square, stances should be strong. From this drill you can learn your basic palm strike, jump sao, tan sao, foot sao, bong sao. You can learn how to punch correctly with the elbow down. You can learn your stance, you can learn contact reflexes. You can learn that you're deflecting, not blocking really. The idea of meet what comes, follow what goes, do not meet the force with force. Understanding squareness and facing, independent action of the limbs. We can then take single stick in hands and we can make it move around so that we can understand the basic footwork and how to strike within the step. It's a very simple way of doing this, a simple backward step and a forward step, so you learn to retreat and you learn to go sideways and you learn to move forwards. And you also learn not to strike before you move forward and to keep the elbow down when you hit so that you're hitting with your body weight rather than with the shoulder. This is the basic single stick and hands drill with a step introduced. A forward step from Christian when he makes the palm, a reverse step from Mark, then Mark steps back in and Christian steps to the side with his bong sao. See, it's basically the same drill, but with added movement. You get a forward step and a retreat step, forward step and a side step. You notice that the elbows don't move very far away from the bodies, they're all kept nice and tightly contained in. And that when he hits, he's hitting with his whole body weight when he moves forward. The shoulders are nice and relaxed, and everyone stays within their stance, whether they're going forwards or backwards. If when Mark goes back, Christian steps forward, if he tries to hit without stepping, Christian doesn't need to deflect with his bong sao, he can just go straight forward and attack. Stay square when you do that. But if Mark keeps his elbow down when he steps in, forces the bong sao because his structure is much more stronger. This trains the person on this side of the drill to hit correctly with the elbow down, and it also trains the person on that side of the drill not to defend, to try and attack if they can. Normal speed. Again, you can see here, same drill from the other side. One person steps forward, the other person steps back, then they step forward and then they deflect, employing a side step. Teaches you stepping, body shifting, correct punching, correct defending, and isolation of the limbs and squareness. As you can see, the drill isn't always the same. That's because they're working on sensitivity and feeling and relying on what they feel as opposed to what they know the drill is going to be. We train quite a lot on turning punch drills initially to get the stance pivoting under pressure and to learn that the elbows intercept the enemy's elbows. This also teaches that you're intercepting and inviting the person forward, not just blocking them and stopping them coming forward. You actually want them to come into your zone. And you can train all the basic drills. So you can use bong sao, you can use tan sao, you can use gong sao, you can use pak sao. You can do virtually anything you want, any of the normal ideas or techniques of Wing Chun can be trained in this way. You can do it stationary and you can do it moving forwards or you can do it moving backwards. First of all, we're just going to demonstrate them stationary. And again, the drills are done by sensitivity, you're feeling, you're learning your contact reflex. And so you can vary the speed. You should always be moving in synchronization with your other person. You see one person is learning to turn and punch, the other person is learning to body shift, intercept, and the elbows in. Here you can see lap sao, kwan sao, pak sao, lap sao again, tan sao and punch, kwan sao, lap sao, here we can see the same drill, with a bit more pressure, a bit more movement. Still one person attacking, one person defending. They're not fighting each other, they're helping each other out. One person supplying the forces for the other one to use. Here you can see that the elbow is doing the work. The person turns who's defending, just letting the elbow defend. The body just pivots, keeping the elbow in the way. Change roles now. You see, this very small movement is all that is needed, just to pivot the body and let the elbow control the incoming elbow, and to let the person keep coming forwards, not to block them directly. You can now move forwards a bit, or backwards a bit. And back forwards again. Obviously you never actually do this in practice, but it's training you to train an attribute to train with the elbow. In Wing Chun, you do need to go backwards as well. You do need to learn to go backwards if you can, or if you have to. You need to be able to go backwards if you're under pressure. Quite often you might meet a bigger or stronger assailant who's coming in very powerfully. You have to go backwards. The key is not to go back in a straight line, but to take a slight off angle. The retreat step is actually designed to put you back on line in order to come forwards again. When you're training it in a drill, you might go back repetitively. In practice, you'd go back once, if you could, to come back in again. What you're doing is you're moving off the angle, making the person who's attacking you think that they're going straight forwards, or you're going straight back, but you're actually taking a slight subtle angle off the side, putting yourself in a forward stance to go back in. It's very important to learn to go backwards and to move freely in your Wing Chun. All the time you're maintaining the same structure that you would have in single stick in hands or in Sulim Tao. You're keeping your squareness and your angle and keeping the availability of both hands so that you can use them all the time. Retreat drills teach you to allow the person to come forward into the attack, not blocking them directly, but just deflecting. It's important to take a subtle angle as you go back to allow yourself the line to hit back down. We can now take the same principle of the retreat drill and put it into a drill where you move forward. So whatever the attack is, you're actually trying to move in. And again, you're moving at an angle, and each time you move forward, you'll try and close down a bit further, trying to trap down the hands and restrict the incoming attack, and move yourself into Wing Chun fighting range, which is roughly elbow to elbow.
Same principle really as going backwards. You're moving at an angle all the time, and you're always trying to face as you go in, trying to control and subdue any incoming attacks. You're not trying to block the attack, you're not trying to stop the person, you actually want them to move forward because you want them into your zone, into your Wing Chun range. Here one person is attacking, the other person is using their movement to close down and subdue the incoming attack. It's important that they don't fight with the arms and they're trying to get forward to attack the person, not the limbs. So all the time they're trying to let the person who's attacking move forward or to move forward on them in order to close the attack down. The closer you get to the person, the less an option they have for attack. And the easier your defense is because your lines become easier. Here you can see the drill applied at normal speed. People are training, the attack's coming in reasonably fast. The Wing Chun man is trying to control the line and close down the attack as he comes in. He's actually trying to attack all the time, he's not defending, he's trying to move into his Wing Chun range to fight. You can see that once he gets into Wing Chun range, the attacker has less options and he's able to fight him very easily. You can also see that he's waiting for the attack to come, he's allowing the attack in. Paksao was derived from the Chinese word to clap, and you can see why. It's used usually to move an arm out of the way in order to attack. If an arm is coming in and attacking you, you mustn't push across the line because obviously if the person's good at Wing Chun, they'll just carry on coming forward. Let's try and control and subdue the limb. The hand should go towards centre or take control of the elbow. And what you're doing is just opening another line up to attack down. Helps you to fight the person, not the hands. If you're using your Paksao just to stop an incoming attack and it's coming from the shoulders or when you're attacking the forearms, then you'll find the other person, if they're relaxed, will be able to keep coming forwards. You've got to have the idea that you're going past the arm and attacking the person. In this drill, Paksao is allowing Christian in, then Mark on this side is using his Paksao, but because he's pushing across the line as opposed to down into the centre, it's causing another reaction, which is cannon punch in this case. The drills are done using sensitivity, so you're letting the person push you. The saying is, allow the enemy to show you how to hit them. So your arms are relaxed as you move forward. In this one here, the Paksao is happening as the Tsun Paksao moves in. This Paksao here, can we slow that down, is happening near the elbow, so Lansao is occurring, so the elbow is being drawn back, again, using the force and interpreting what's happening to regain the line to hit down again. Here again, second Paksao comes across the line, causing a lapsao reflex. The arm collapses when it meets the force, and the lapsao faksao or a punch. Again, they're feeling what's happening and allowing their arms to do what is happening naturally. Here you can see John's moving forwards and attacking and allowing his arms to be taken out of the way and just continuing to move forward with his arms relaxed to get into Wing Chun fighting range and to disrupt the posture of his attacker. His arms are nice and relaxed and he's in his stance, and whenever he moves forward he just does what he needs to do in order to close down the range and find the target. There is always another attack ready to go because there's always a rear hand. The hand comes from where it is and just continues moving forwards. You see, he just flows forward into the attack. Pak-Sao, as a drill you saw before, here we can see it a bit more in application. Could be from a push or something like that. When contact is gained, you use Pak-Sao generally from a position of contact. You can see once contact's gained with the man-tao there, the inquisitive hand, Pak-Sao coming in, being employed to deflect and then allow the strike in. Could equally be from a jab or a normal attack of any kind. Again, once the contact's been gained with the man-tao, to find out where the pressure is and what the kind of attack is, the Pak-Sao is employed to clear the line to put you into Wing Chun range. Again, you can see there, contact gain first, then the Pak-Sao coming off. As we build up speed gradually. And again, you can see the Pak-Sao allows the range to close down, allows him into fighting range. Bong lap drill, or lap sail drill as some people call it, is very effective for training your flowing skills, your ability to change from one thing into another, so, and obviously training your bong sail, your pivot, your attack. We can also vary it quite a lot, as we did with the previous drills, where you can add a lot of interruption rather, and change the drill as we go along and make it flow into other ideas. Again, with Wing Chun, you're looking at an idea rather than a technique. The technique is important, you have to get the positioning right, but what is essential really is the idea behind what you're doing. You're training your mind to be able to react. With the bong lap drill, we're training sensitivity and positioning quite a lot, and again, like I say, flow. We're learning to flow and to move from a defense into an attack. As you can see here, various variations of bong sail and lap sail. Here, Chris and Kevin using a shifting tan sail and Pak sail. So a shifting tan sail to try and change and come in from a different line here, gets Pak sail out of the way. So we're varying this drill with the previous drill, and learning to mix everything up and develop the various attributes. And we can speed it up a bit. And you can see the body's reacting to what they feel, working off a contact reflex, rather than knowing previously what the drill's going to be. Lovely. You can see Ashnarika with another variation on the drill, using two hands, keeping nice, just learning to keep nice and relaxed and keep the shapes working. The arms nice and relaxed, just flowing into the positions. We can speed it up a bit. and here. You can see training in Bong Lap, when the Wu Sao comes forward, it mustn't be trying to grab. If you try and grab, a gap will open up and you can hit into it. The Wu Sao must be trying to attack. As it comes off the Bong Sao, it must be trying to attack. As soon as you start trying to grab things and chasing the hands, you will open up a gap that you can be hitting. Speed it up a bit. Obviously in Wing Chun we're seeking to feel a gap all the time. We're always looking to find the gap, trying to hit into it. This has to be done by sensitivity and feeling more than by visual reactions. Great. Here you can see Roger and John just freeing it up and just freestyling a bit, just training, playing around with the various drills, seeing what comes naturally, trying to find the gaps, trying to feel the gaps. Working out what to do when things go wrong, because obviously things will go wrong in fighting. But again, they're not actually fighting each other, they're training, they're practicing. Well, they might be fighting. Chi Sao is a unique drill specific to Wing Chun, where we train for sensitivity and, well, all the attributes you get from Wing Chun, all the skills in Wing Chun can be trained in Chi Sao. Some people say it's like an advanced sparring form. Some people say it's like where you train the autopilot of Wing Chun. Some people say it's like the laboratory where you can explore all the aspects of Wing Chun. It is basically the heart and soul of where everything comes from in Wing Chun, and it's where you can train any of the skills apart from pressure testing. You'll learn positioning, you'll learn sensitivity, you'll learn centerline squareness, triangulation, your fighting triangle, all your basic shapes and skills. So it's obviously an integral part and very, very important in Wing Chun. It's easy to make mistakes in Wing Chun, so it's very important to be very specific about what you're training and why you're training it and how you're training, because you could be training at various different levels of intensity. So what we're going to do first is train very slowly and specifically, look at the specific shapes and the positions and try and examine what we're trying to learn. Obviously with Chi Sao you can drill specific techniques and you can then freestyle it as well. You can fight with it. So we're going to be looking first of all how the roll works, why we're doing it, how we stand, and where we pry. To understand the roll more clearly, we're going to look first at one side of it, because the other side is the opposite of this, so it's quite easy. You can see the person this side, Kevin, is rolling from Tan Sao to Bong Sao. In his Tan Sao position, his Tan Sao is perpendicular to the body, pointing directly at the other person. It's not held in too tight here, it's relaxed, sort of in line with the shoulder and the hip. As it rolls up to Bong Sao, the elbow moves out because the arm's bent, and then the wrist comes across to the center line, so it ends up in the reference point from your Sulin Tao form in Bong Sao. As it goes back, the elbow drops and the hand comes over. The arm is relaxed. If you have Tan Sao position like this, if the Tan Sao position is offline, pointing towards the center, this opens up this line so it can be hit down here. If his Tan Sao is square to his body and perpendicular here, and the shoulders are all square, this punch won't come into this corner here. Very common mistake is people do this instead of this. Another common mistake is the elbow of the Tan Sao dropping back. So when they go from Bong Sao to Tan Sao, people do this. instead of this. The Tanto elbow should be in the same plane as the Bongsao elbow. If the Tanto elbow drops back, he can be hit again here. If he keeps his elbow in the same plane as that, as the Bongsao elbow, there's no gap, and Roger can't come forward this way. Common errors for this side. If the Futsal is heavy and pushing down when they roll, this hand can just whip around and attack, because obviously he's feeling what he's doing. His hand isn't chasing Roger's, it's just going in the same, it's prying forward. Another mistake, Roger could be pushing across with his Futsal, which leads Kevin into Bongsao here. Other common mistakes with the Futsal, your arm is being, when the Bongsao occurs, your Futsal elbow is being dragged, your hand is being dragged across. If the elbow doesn't move with it and keep the arm in line, your Futsal will end up crossed with the other hand, which opens up the centre line, allowing the next hand in here. So when you do that, your elbow must come across. Another fault which I see sometimes is that people use their Futsal all the time with the elbow in. So if Roger hugs the centre line with his Futsal here, then really they can't roll, because already he's pushing the Tanto out of position. So it's going to, and they're straining the shoulders, everything's tensing up, and it's very difficult to roll. So we end up with very achy shoulders and a lot of struggling and tenseness and fighting in the roll. And there's no freedom, you're not allowing the person to train. You've got to be relaxed and loose, let the elbows be out so that they can then come in. So you're training your elbow to come in when an attack happens, when you're threatened. And you're also allowing this attack line here. If you're always in here, then you're not free. Your arms aren't free to attack. And can we do that from the other side now? And here's the other side of the roll, as you can see. Same thing, trained in isolation. You can see any pressures they can react to. And they can actually give each other various different forces. They can make mistakes deliberately to train the other person to feel those mistakes happening. Because obviously Chisao, you're helping each other out. Like with all the training exercises, they're drills, they're practice. They're not for fighting. Okay, let's go to both hands now. Slow it down a bit. Here you can see both hands working, and also you'll notice they're prying. What we call Wing Chun's prying force comes from the feet and the stance. You push forward. This enables you to go into a gap when a gap appears. So you're feeling for gaps. If a gap occurs, you'll go into it. You're also testing the person's stance. Very, very important skills. Here now we can see it speeding up. We're just rolling here, just rolling and prying. Not fighting, not training any drills, just rolling and prying. When we're rolling, we may train so that one person leaves a gap for the other person to come into. So they practice the prying, practice the fact that they're pressing forwards. And that they're going into the gap with the whole stance. If you pry from the stance and from the feet or the legs, then the whole body will go forward rather than just the shoulders going forward, which is obviously commitment, which can be exploited. You can see here when the gap occurs, the person who's coming forward steps, the whole body goes in. It's not just the hands and the shoulders reaching in, it's the whole body moving forward, which puts you into position to be able to pry further and to be able to attack, puts you into Wing Chun range and gives you control of the elbows, which is what we're looking for. We can then start, one person can push the hands off. So if Kevin pushes, just shove the hands away, just push the hands offline, so Roger gets the practice, the hands coming back in and attacking. So you just fling the hands, push them away, which is something quite likely to happen in fighting. He trains his Latsao. And if we do that back the other way, Roger, push Kev's hands off. Then to make it more entertaining, push his hands off, and when he comes forward, push them off again so he doesn't know what, so change the direction of the push. And you can see here, he needs to keep nice and relaxed so he can keep coming forwards. and whatever the interruption is on the way in, and still move in.
Hold on, contact lens.
As we said before, it's important to learn to retreat and be able to go backwards in Wing Chun, because you might have someone who's big or strong, or you might just be forced backwards. And again, when you go back, you need to go back at a slight angle in order to align yourself to attack again. It's equally important to learn how to pursue someone who's retreating, because hopefully, in an ideal world, when you attack them, they're going to go backwards. You want them to retreat. You want them to be on the back foot. So the next drill we're going to look at involves both elements of this. So one person's going to be pursuing and going forwards, the other person's going to be going backwards. The retreating person is going to go back online and just take a slight angle, but keep their arms lined up so they end up in a position where they're dominant and they can then come forwards if they wanted to. In this drill, we're going to repeat going backwards so that we're training that skill. So they're going to go back on an angle. Both of their arms are on line. When I say their arms are on line, what I mean is the bones of the arm are pointing towards our target to have the opportunity to strike if they wish to off either hand. The person who's pursuing will then be in a position where they're weaker because they're not on line to attack. So what they will then do is use hinsao off both hands to realign and realign the body and attack again. And again, then the person retreating will reciprocally go back. As we can see from here, from the roll and pry, Kevin's going to move forward. If we just freeze it there, you can see as he's stepping forward, he's prying in with his body. This hand is on line, this hand is on line. What Roger's done is shifted backwards, slightly off on a line, and he's lined up this hand and this hand. So when the pressure comes in, this arm is now pointing towards a target, and this arm is now pointing towards a target. So either of these hands can hit, and both of these hands have been excluded by the fact that he's moved off at an angle. Both in the stance, as he's moved backwards in his stance, he's pushed with his front leg to drive him backwards. He's feeling the movement of the incoming force. When the pressure becomes too strong in his arms, he's feeling that and moving back like a pressure release valve. Now, Kevin feels he's offline, so he uses Hunsao to put him back online and attacks again. And again, as Roger feels the attack coming in, he moves back off to the other side, zigzagging away, and now aligning himself up. He's actually in a very strong position. If he wanted to come forward and attack now, he's got everything lined up so he can do that. But because it's a drill, we're not doing that. We're just going to keep retreating, and Kev's going to keep coming forwards and realigning and pressing. Keep going backwards nice and slowly. You can see the two bodies moving together. If Roger goes too far out when he goes backwards, it's easy to feel. As soon as he can detect the movement, he can attack it. So when the person is retreating, they've got to be quite subtle in the movement and not move too far off the line. Here you can see. It's important the person going backwards goes back as far as the person who's coming forwards. They mustn't try and fight them, they must move back. Using their sensitivity to gauge the positioning. Now we can speed the drill up. Don't fight with it, just drill. And then we can put an extra step in, we can put a shuffle step in, because obviously if you go forwards and one person moves back, you need to be able to keep that up. And get a little shuffle step in there. And this also teaches the person to attack to put the shuffle step in, and the person going back to equally feel that and move back on a shuffle, so on the toes going backwards. as you can see here, what we're doing is we're drilling the basic corner drills, or what I call the corner drills, is learning the basic movements in Wing Chun through Chi Sao, feeling what's happening. It's also important in Chi Sao to train left-handed, like these guys are at the moment, as much or more than you train right-handed. It's very important to train your left-hand side. Here you can see a punch is coming in, which causes a bong sao. The bong sao moves forward, jamming up the foot sao, or the punch, and lining up this attack. And when he attacks with this hand, the other one lines up as well, so he's ready to go one in, one out. The training is done with feeling, so either person can attack. The response is not automatic, we're not robots, we're feeling what we're doing, and we're learning to feel and learning to move in response to an action or to a pressure. Go back here. This drill training, when a force comes in on the inside here of the foot sao arm, he moves to gan sao or gong sao. As he moves back, he lines up, rather like the retreat drill we did before. Stepping back and lining up both arms. If you guys can just turn around a bit. Here you can see, in response to a punch that goes down the outside from this hand here, Erica's going to tan sao and punch. This tan sao is blocking the punch here. This one is covering this line here, so she's going in with the punch here. She's using a small footwork step to get into position to line everything up. You guys come over this way a bit. Here we can use pak sao. Pak sao is coming off this foot sao hand this side. When the pak sao comes in, you can see the pak sao's taking this hand out. The elbow is controlling the elbow of this shoulder here. So when he moves in, the elbow, the pak sao takes the hand on the other side, the elbow takes the elbow of this arm to control it all. These drills can then evolve. Obviously, every response has another response to it, so everything that happens, something else can happen back. There's no unstoppable technique in Wing Chun. So as soon as you do something to someone, if they're sensitive enough, they should be able to feel what's happening and then react back. So we can then take these drills further. Here we go back to the original one here.